Whoa! 1080p 60 frames per second video? What is going on? Well, this is Sony RX0. It shoots 1080p 60 frames per second, 50 megabits per second video. It doesn't have optical image stabilization or electronic image stabilization. It doesn't have electronic or optical zoom, and it costs $700. Here it is! Sony RX0 comes in this box. On the box they listed everything this little monster can do. Inside the box some warranty and instruction manuals greet us. Then there is 700 mAh NP BJ1 battery. I know NP stands for no problem, but I'm not sure what BJ1 is. It also comes with memory card protector, AC adapter, wrist strap, micro USB to USB cable, and of course Sony RX0 itself. This tiny thing is 10 meters water, 2 meters shock, and 200 kilogram force crush proof. It has a door on the side for the battery, and this part for memory card, mini HDMI, USB, and microphone connection. The doors are cleverly designed. You don't need to unmount RX0 to change its battery or the memory card. Well done, Sony. RX0 is unlike anything out there. And I mean it. It is seriously incomparable to anything. You'll see why. Sony RX0 has 1-inch Exmor RS CMOS sensor. The very sensor you can find in the legendary Sony RX100 series. Normally this sized cameras have 1/2.3-inch sensor, which is 1/2.3 of what this has. Similar sized cameras are usually 12 megapixel, but this one is 15.3 megapixels. It has 24mm f4 Zeiss lens. It has S-Log 2. It shoots up to 960 frames per second, 1080p slow motion video. For 2 seconds in quality priority and for 4 seconds in time priority. This is a 2-second quality priority footage, which looks pretty bad, especially compared to RX100 Mark V. So the usable one you can get out from this camera is 240 frames per second slow motion video, which looks worse than GoPro Hero 6's 240 frames per second video, which looks worse than iPhone X's 240 frames per second video, and which is worse than, yep, you guessed it, Sony RX100 Mark V's 240 frames per second video. Also with iPhone 8, 8 Plus, and 10 or GoPro Hero 6, you can shoot in 240 frames per second as long as you wish. It has 25-point contrast detection, so no phase detection. It doesn't matter much for the photos, and also it doesn't matter much for the videos, because when you're shooting a video with this, it doesn't have continuous autofocus. It has a choice between preset focus and manual focus. And if you want to shoot in manual focus mode, you have to use these buttons here or the buttons here to manually focus. Luckily it gives you the focus peak lines, so it's not difficult, and it zooms in so you're seeing closer. I'm trying to focus on this palm tree. All right, I can see the peaking lines. That palm tree must be in focus. Now let's get close to these. Well, they seem in focus as well because this is f4. So every time you click the focus button, you're shaking the camera as well. In preset focus, you can select between 0.5 meter to 1 meter, which is called near focus, or 1 meter to infinity, which is not called anything at all. Pay attention to the writing in the background. By the way, 0.5 meter minimum focusing distance is not very good, especially compared to Sony RX100 Mark IV or 5's 5 centimeter minimum focus distance. So if you wanna vlog with this, you gotta hold it a little far away from your face. Look at that. It is super tiny. You just put it in your pocket and then you forget that it exists. It also has the microphone in, which is something we were dying to have on Sony RX100 series. And the microphone in on FDRX 3000 is not adjustable. With this, you can adjust the audio level. So this camera has amazing features that are mostly good for nothing. RX0 internally can shoot 1080p 60 frames per second, as I said it before. But if you want to shoot 4K, yes, it can shoot 4K, but it shoots 4K externally, which means you have to buy an external recorder. Just like back in the day where you carry the Betamax on your shoulder while shooting a video. Also, external recorder costs around $800, which also means you're gonna need a cage so you can mount the external recorder on top of this, and that thing costs around $249. It brings the total to $1,749 to shoot 4K 30 frames per second 422 video with this. So to compare these guys, I prepared something like this. My phone is gonna go over there in a minute, and I'm gonna set everything to 1080p 60 frames per second, so they're equal to RX0. I love shooting on Hollywood Boulevard. No one cares how many cameras you broke, and no one cares when you talk to your camera. It's a chaos. An asshole parked right here. Ooh, the stars. Oh yeah. Okay, here we are. The secret. I don't want to accidentally hit and drop all my cameras down there. Secret Hollywood location from above. Let's add the missing piece to the puzzle. It's gonna be interesting because iPhone doesn't unlock when it's sideways, so I have to constantly do this to unlock it. Well, let's start up here. Let me unlock. All right, it's unlocked. The future is here. It's not funny. Stop nitpicking with iPhone X, okay? Needless to say, this footage is not edited. This is what comes out of RX0, and it is looking good. It is very close to what I got from Sony RX100 Mark V in this scene. Now let's turn on the Diamond Inspector mode and zoom into the footage. It seems like RX0 adds some sharpening effect to the footage. You can see it below the underline where it says seller. Also, the Disneyland looks sharper as well. A drone shot. In S-Log 2, RX0 once again is very similar to Sony RX100 Mark V in this scene. Luma values are great as well. This extremely boring scene is the only setup where RX0 performs fine. Since iPhone adds all sorts of sugar to its footage like saturation, sharpness and contrast, at first glance it may look like iPhone X's footage is better, but with simple color matching you can get similar results from RX0 too. Also, there's an interesting lens flare in iPhone X's footage. Comparing RX0 to GoPro Hero 6 is quite difficult, mainly because GoPro has a wide-angle lens. RX0's footage looks like this, and GoPro's like this. When I hold the camera's upside down, GoPro immediately switches the screen accordingly, and of course iPhone does that too, but Sony cameras don't support auto rotation. So if you mount this somewhere upside down, you have to go into the menu and adjust it yourself, or you can fix it while you're editing the video. Now let's try vlogging with this setup. In this footage, all cameras are set to 1080p and the image stabilization is turned off, except for iPhone X, where such option is not granted for the user. So I decided to turn on optical image stabilization on RX100 Mark V and electronic image stabilization on GoPro Hero 6 to see which camera can give us the best 1080p 60 frames per second results. Great. Thank you, GoPro. And as is tradition, GoPro Hero 6 crashed. There are really cool improvements when it comes to GoPro Hero 6. For example, Hero 5 used to crash slower, but Hero 6 crashes pretty faster. And when it comes to the battery life, RX0 performs like a Sony. Now GoPro is at 71%. RX0 shows out of battery sign. RX100 Mark V is 3 bars and iPhone is at 71% from 88%. So definitely RX0 sucked the battery very fast. But keep in mind that before I started comparing the cameras together, I shot a total of 4 minutes and 30 seconds video and 16 photos with RX0. So it was not at 100% when the comparison began. When it comes to overheating, in the standard overheat power off settings, I was able to record for 14 minutes and 26 seconds while it was placed on my desk. But when I placed the camera on a metal surface, I was able to record for 32 minutes and 27 seconds before it shut down. It shoots very sweet photos too. This is single shot autofocus. As you can see, I'm too close, I have to back up. All right, this isn't bad. But if you like to take a photo like this close, that's not gonna work. Now let's switch to HDR. Let's take a photo in HDR. Oh, with polarized glasses, when you hold it sideways, you cannot see the screen. And when it comes to low light and audio quality comparison, don't worry, the winner is still the same. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for GoPro Hero 6. Woo! So, what is Sony RX0? Why would you need one? Is it a crash cam? Is it a POV for couch casting? Is it a B-roll camera? I don't know. Sony RX0 is an outcast. Sony's version of staying foolish. It is a camera that can't be categorized or compared. For any job you can imagine, there's a better camera that can do more. But one thing is for sure, it looks super cool. But it's a no from me. Well, thank you very much for watching this episode and I hope you enjoyed it. Please hit that subscribe button. I must have a subscribe button somewhere here on the screen. Hit that subscribe button and play Ding Dong Ditch with the bell next to it and join the world domination. And please let me know what you think about Sony RX0 in the comment section. There's poop here. Does that count? In the comment section, poopy. And until I see you the next time, take really good care of yourselves and hoşça kalın.